Hello, how is everyone? Here we are back. Hang on, guys. Oops, nothing here. Oh, shoot. Trying to go live on Facebook at the same time, right? All right. Are we good? Ah, there. We are good. We are live on Facebook and we are live on YouTube as well. Awesome. I'm so happy to be back with you guys. And here's what we're doing. We're back with the book Money and the Law of Attraction by Esther and Jerry Hicks and learning to attract wealth, health, and happiness. So, in this book, Abraham has basically got four sections. The first section is just general law of attraction. The second section is money. Third section is health, and the last section is career. And we are just now doing the third section, which is health. All right, so let's pick it up where we were before, where we left off last night. Last time, not last night. So every Wednesday night, I'm live both on YouTube and Facebook and going through a book study. And the way I do it is I do not read the book. So I'm not here to read the book to you. I'm here to offer you snippets that I love from the books and give you my interpretation, my perspective on that work. Okay, so today we're starting at page 123, which is where we left off last Wednesday. And so Abraham and Jerry are having a conversation here. And Jerry's asking Abraham that his question is, Abraham, my work is so important to me, and there is never been a day of work that I've missed. I've always completed whatever it was that I had decided to do on any particular day. And so even when I'm feeling sick, when I get focused on my work, my sickness goes away. So if I've got sniffles or if I feel the flu coming on, but when I get immersed in my work, it's gone. So why do the symptoms go away? Do they go away because I've diverted my attention away from the sickness? And Abraham says that it's actually because you have a strong intention to do your work. And because you enjoy it when you do it, the advantage is that you've got the joy is that strong momentum that takes you towards your well-being. So then Abraham says that we as mankind, we try and accomplish too much through action. And in doing so, we feel tired and overwhelmed. Do you relate to that? Like, I can relate to that, right? There are days when you feel like, oh my God, can this day just be over? Because you just feel so overwhelmed with the amount of work that you have to do. And Abraham says that if you feel that way, it is time to stop. When you feel overwhelmed, don't try and push through that. Actually stop and line up your energy, then address the work. And that is so important, you know. Like, I've learned that when I'm working and I feel overwhelmed, just like anyone else, I find that it's really helpful I turn my chair around away from people, distraction, and face the wall or face something that is not distracting. And then I just close my eyes and I breathe a couple of times. And immediately you feel better. You feel just a little bit better. But feeling just a little bit better is enough. That's all we need to shift the trajectory of our vibration. And when we are able to make that shift, everything changes. All right. So So we have to remember not to try and accomplish too much using action, because alignment is more important than action. Action is secondary. So then Abraham says, a lot of people, when they have a symptom of a sickness, what happens is instead of still giving attention to their work, they stop giving attention to the work, and instead they start giving attention to the symptom. So, like for example, you wake up and you got a scratchy throat. Next thing you know, you come downstairs, and then whoever is in the family with you, you tell them, my throat feels scratchy this morning. I wonder what's going on. And then you go to work and somebody says, how are you? And you say, well, my throat feels a little scratchy. What are you doing? When you do those things, what you're doing, hi Nancy, when you do those things, what you're doing is that you are calling attention onto the sickness, so the sickness becomes more. And if you didn't do that, then the sickness would go away really, really quickly. And it doesn't matter if it's something small or if it's something big and acute. Everything works the same way. The more attention you give it, the bigger it gets. And so Abraham says that things that you can't get rid of, or health situations that seem difficult to shake off, it's only because you keep giving your attention to them. All right. So then Jerry's next question to Abraham is, since we create our illnesses through thought, then why do vaccines work? Isn't that a good question? And isn't it interesting that this question is coming at a time in our lives, certainly, when we have COVID-19 going on and the search for a vaccine is topical? So Abraham then says, the illness amplifies desire, and the vaccine amplifies belief. Therefore, you have accomplished the delicate balance of creation. You want it and you allow it, or you believe it. So what is allowing? You see, if you believe that it can happen, then it can happen. And if you believe that it cannot happen, hi Jennifer. So if you believe that it cannot happen, then it cannot happen, right? And that is the important thing to understand. We allow based on our belief system. And so if you think that there's a cure, then that cure will work. And if you don't believe in the cure, then it won't work. And that is why some people take a medicine or have a treatment and they improve because of the treatment, and other people do not. It's as simple as that. And then Jerry asks Abraham a really interesting question. I love this question. It's so fun. Okay, so Jerry says, what about medical doctors, faith healers, and witch doctors? Yes, I would like to know too. What about those other guys, right? Okay, so then Jerry's saying, but they're witch doctors and they're faith healers and naturopaths and homeopaths and allopathic doctors, and all of them seem to be able to cure people. All of them have a track record for curing some sort of illness. And a lot of times there are people with intense situations that get cured. Why is that? And Abraham says the same thing again. It's about belief. If you believe in whichever healer you go to, whether it's a doctor, a witch doctor, faith healer, it doesn't matter who it is that you go to. If you believe in their ability to help you, hi Yulani, if you believe in their ability to help you, then only can they help you, or can you be helped by them. So Abraham says, and listen guys, this is really, really important. Abraham says, if a doctor does not believe that you can recover from your illness, your association with that doctor is extremely detrimental. Yes, it's important that when you go to see a doctor, that doctor actually believes that they can help you. Because if the doctor doesn't believe that you can be helped, then you're going to leave the doctor's office feeling despair about your situation. And what is despair? Despair is a very negative vibration, isn't it? Despair is going to take us right down the emotional scale, isn't it? And so when despair takes us down the emotional scale, how is it then that we can recover? We cannot, right? Because um, because we don't believe that we can. Sorry, just adjusting this just a little bit. There we go. Okay. So Abraham then says there's much evidence to show that people can recover from supposedly incurable diseases. And yes, there is. There is nothing that cannot be cured. The difference, as Abraham says, very rightly so, the difference between a cure and not is whether or not you're feeling the vibration of hope. When you feel the vibration of hope, then only a cure is possible. Okay, so this is really important. Abraham says you cannot look outside of yourself for the validation to to accomplish your cure. You cannot look outside of you. Your validation has to come from within you in the form of your emotion. So, when you're going to see the doctor, how are you feeling? Are you dreading going to see the doctor? Or are you feeling hopeful seeing the doctor? Are you pre-paving that session? How are you feeling? See, that is, in the end, that is the key. So Abraham says, let your medical community assist you in your recovery. Do not ask them to give you a cure to compensate for your misalignment of energy. See, because, oh, that's so pretty. Thank you. Geraldine, thank you. That's so pretty. She sent me a flower. I like it. Okay. Um, so your doctor cannot compensate forever for your misalignment of energy. But if your doctor inspires confidence, if your doctor makes you feel hope about your situation, then they are instrumental in your being able to come up the emotional scale. So if somebody is really sick and they go to the doctor and the doctor says, here, take this, and this is going to go away in 3 days. Now they've inspired hope, right? You don't feel so bad anymore because you know that in 3 days this is going to be gone. So you feel better right away. Just going to the doctor makes you feel better. And if you don't go, then you keep thinking, oh, should I go? Is this really bad? Is this really bad? Am I doing the right thing by going or not going? Am I doing the right thing by not going to the doctor? Should I be going? And then you ask other people, do you think I should go to the doctor? And all that does is, all of that focuses your energy on negative, on being sick. And that's why it's not a good thing. If you have a problem, sort it out as soon as possible. Help your body to become aligned. Because when you help your body to become aligned, then your body feels better faster. Hi, Margie. Oh, Geraldine, you're beautiful too. Thank you. Thank you all for being here tonight. I really appreciate your taking time out of your day to spend it with me. It's really, really precious. I really value it. Okay. And I value this, Abraham's work, so much in this work. So much in it that we need to understand and absorb and start practicing and just start looking at the world in a different way, right? Okay. So then Jerry says, Abraham says that with a lot of doctors, as they practice medicine, they begin to believe, these are Abraham's words, in the fallibility of man. That, man is fragile. And they begin to notice more often what is wrong than what is right. And that is the reason so many of them begin to attract illness into their own experience. And I have seen this over and over again. I have met people clients, friends, people that I know who have said to me unequivocally, I do not want to end up like that person, unable to look after myself in bed. And then a couple of years later, 5, 10, 15 years later, that is exactly what happens to that person, right? And and the reason is because they start believing in the possibility of that happening because they see so many things go wrong. And I've seen it very close at hand with my mother, who was an extremely active person. If you think I have energy, oh my God, I could not keep up with my mother. That's how much energy she had. But there were, my mother's aunt was bedridden and had so many health problems for such a long time. And we used to go and visit her on a regular basis. My mother always respected and loved her, the elders in the family a lot. And we would go and visit this aunt a lot. And my mother always coming back in the car. Um, Hi, Marlene, would always say, "Oh, thank you, Nancy." My mother would always say, coming back in the car, "Oh, there's no hope for her. I never want to end up like her. I never want to end up like her." And then guess what? She ended up like her. And in my opinion, way worse. So, so the thing is, it's about your attention. What are you giving your attention to? We want good things, but oftentimes we give our attention to the opposite of what we want. So in my mother's case, being bedridden was the last thing she wanted. She always wanted to be happy, 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 dead, right? And but that's not what happened to her. And it wasn't because she didn't want it. She created the opposite of what she wanted because she gave attention. She gave more attention to that. And feeling sorry for someone is the last thing we should be doing, because when we feel sorry for someone, we bring their situation into our life. We can love people without feeling sorry for them. You see, it's not love. If you're feeling sorry for someone, that's not love. Understand this. Lean forward. Hear this clearly. When you feel sorry for someone, that is not love. Why? Because when you feel sorry for someone, you feel bad. And love is not a bad feeling emotion. Love feels bloody good. Right? So, when you feel sorry for someone, that is absolutely the opposite of love. And but what has happened is society has taught us, first of all, that we are good people when we feel sorry for other people. And that feeling sorry for people means that we are expressing love for them. Not true, friends. Not true. When you feel sorry for someone, you are hurting them. It's almost as if you're taking a knife and, what's the right word? It's not coming to me. But you're poking them with that knife, or cutting them, or hurting them with that knife. That is literally what you're doing when you feel sad for someone. So feel love for them instead of feeling sad. Feel love for yourself instead of feeling sad for yourself. Because when we feel sad, we perpetuate that feeling of stabbing. Thank you. Yes, that's the word. My thoughts are going so fast that my words can't keep up with them. Okay. Um, so so basically, we need to be able to differentiate what a positive feeling really is. Oh, I feel bad for her. Oh, sweetheart, I feel so bad for you. Stop it. Don't do that, because you're not helping them and you're not helping yourself either, because now there are two people being stabbed by that same knife. the person who is already suffering, and you, because you've gone down the emotional scale and now you're on that same vibration. And it's not helpful at all. And this is how a lot of sickness is created. I've seen so many doctors and nurses who are my clients have that happen to them because they feel so sorry for the people who come to them. And doctors, nurses, especially, feel sorry for the people that they look after. The ones who are not able to look after themselves, nurses are the ones who feel the sorriest. And I wish that I could teach all of them, but I can't. Maybe I can. Maybe one day I will. But in this moment, it's you guys that I'm teaching. And if you can take the message forward, I will have done my job. So I wish that I could explain to all the nurses that I know, don't do that. Don't feel bad. Love, but without feeling bad. Jinx. Margie, that's a good word. Okay. So the medical profession, a lot of them attract the illnesses that they are trying to cure. And that is because they are focusing more so on the problem than on the solution. So then Jerry says in this conversation that I've hijacked, Jerry says, so is that the reason why often doctors can't heal themselves? Yes, absolutely. Abraham says, yes, that is the reason. It is not easy to be focused upon others' negatives without experiencing the negative emotion within your own being. And illness exists because of the allowance of negativity. One who never experiences negative emotion will not be sick. Yay! That's the secret to living a long and healthy life. Just don't feel negative emotion. Well, Zara, that's easier said than done. How do we not feel negative emotion? Well, I have this little phrase that I keep telling myself, and I tell everyone who's around me. Be a duck. Just be a duck. Grow some feathers, waterproof feathers. And then, doesn't matter what the world throws at you. You just brush it off and off you go. Paddle along, right? That's how. Don't take things personally. It is not, if somebody is acting out, it's not because of you. You are not the reason. It's just that they are having a bad day. They are low on the emotional scale. Don't take life so seriously. Don't make other people's problems about you because they're not about you. So that's how we can stay happy, even if somebody in the same house as you is unhappy. Oh, I like that duck. Thank you, Margie. Yes, even if you live with someone who is not well and is mostly, I have people who come and tell me, I don't know how to deal with this mother of mine or this husband of mine or, other family members or friends because I feel so drained after I visit with them. I feel so drained. They suck me out of all my energy. No, 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 sweetheart, no, no. They don't suck anything out of you. You give it away. You give it away because you feel bad when you observe them. And long time ago, I started understanding law of attraction the way you guys are understanding it now with me. And I understood that I don't need to feel bad for anyone anytime because whatever is happening to them is their own creation. They created it. If somebody is down and out on their luck, it is because they created it. If somebody's got nursing a broken heart, they created it. So that does not mean that I don't want them to get better and I don't want to help them. Absolutely, no one wants to help them more than me. I want I want to help them change the way they think. But now I'm able to do it without feeling bad for them because I give them responsibility for whatever it is they're creating. I give them responsibility. So I don't feel bad anymore. The world did not do anything to them, they did it to themselves. So I am absolved of the need to feel bad for them. I no longer need to feel bad for them. Hi, Rhonda. And so that just changes your quality of life big time when you do that. You still help them. You still want to give them a hand. You still want to improve their lives. You still want to have a positive impact on them. However, you don't have to feel bad yourself. And that is the important thing, right? You can help people without feeling bad. Okay, so moving along, let's go back. So then, Jerry, of course, being who he is, wants to help everyone. So he says, what is the best thing that I, as an individual, can do for other people who are having physical problems? So Abraham says, you never help others when you allow yourself to be a sounding board for their complaints. Don't listen to people's complaints because when you listen to them complaining, you're actually helping them to hurt themselves. Listen carefully. When you listen to someone complaining, you are helping them to hurt themselves. They've got a dagger and they're stabbing themselves, and now you're putting your hand on the dagger and you're doing the same thing with them. Not helpful. Right? Okay. So then Abraham says, sometimes that can mean removing yourself from their vicinity because when you're near them, it is difficult not to notice their complaints. And say to them, I've learned the power of my attention and thought. And so, as I hear you speaking of what I know you don't want, I must tell you that I must remove myself, for I don't want to contribute to your miscreating. I love Abraham so much. I love them. I owe them. Well, I don't owe them anything, but it's all on me. I learned whatever I learned, but because of them. But I absolutely love and adore them. But I can't take this advice because imagine saying to someone in your family, sweetheart, I know you're feeling really bad and I can't hear you're complaining, so I'm going to go now. Right? No, you can't do that. So what do? You grow those feathers, and while someone is complaining, you've got to shut your ears down. Sometimes when people are complaining on the phone, I just hold the phone over here. I know that they're complaining and I don't want to hear it. So they think that I am hearing it, but I hold the phone over here. And then when I feel that they're taking a breath, I bring the phone closer and I say, it's going to be okay. Yeah, you have to have strategies to deal with people that you care about, people who care about you and who want your love and support. We have to have strategies to deal with them. And for those people who understand law of attraction, it's okay for us to say to them, sweetheart, I can't participate in what you've got going on because I know that I won't be helping you by doing that. But there's so many people who don't really understand law of attraction. And we have to have a different attitude with them. We have to say different things to them, things that they can understand, right? We have to deal with people in a manner that they can understand. And so there are different things that you can do. My favorite thing of all is to give them a hug. If they are physically in my presence, I will give them a hug. And I will make sure that when I'm hugging them, that I close my eyes and I bring forth the deepest love that I can muster from within me. And maybe it's my love for them, but maybe, and this is my secret, maybe it's my love for my children. But I will feel that love and vibrate it while I'm hugging this other person. and the other person picks up on it. They pick up that vibe and they feel that it is for them, and it is for them. I'm funny. Okay, Jennifer. Hi, Deepa. So I will hug them tight so they can get a full blast of that loving energy. Because if anything is going to make them feel better, it's going to be that loving energy. And that loving energy is going to make them actually go up the emotional scale just a fraction. And if I've helped someone to go up the emotional scale even just a fraction, I have been instrumental to changing their whole life. And so that's the advice that I would give you. If you have a friend or a family member who is really suffering, tell them that you care because you do. Give them that love and then tell them it's going to be all right. It is going to be all right. You will figure this out. I know you. I know you. You will find a way. You are going to get there. I trust that you are, right? And that those words just soothe them. They make them feel it's our job to make them feel supported. That's all. That they are not alone. And it especially applies to those people who want to trust but are unable to trust, who talk about trusting and they give lip service to trusting but don't really trust. Because if they did really trust, then they wouldn't be unhappy. Because when you trust, you're happy. You are happy because you are looked after and you know it. And that gave me goosebumps. Okay. So then I'm going to read Abraham's words here. You will know when you are of value to anyone, when you are able to think about the person and feel good at the same time. All right. When you love others without worry, you are an advantage to them. When you enjoy them, you help them. When you expect them to succeed, you help them. In other words, when you see them as your own inner being sees them, then and only then is your association with them to their advantage. Oh my God. Beautiful words, aren't they? I love that paragraph that I just read out to you because that is it. When you think about someone, how do you feel about them? Do you feel sorry for them? If you feel sorry for them, you're not helping them. But if you feel love for them, if you feel good when you think about them, if you expect them to succeed, that's when you're helping them vibrationally. And then Jerry says, but what if they are in a coma? My mother was there. And just because they're in a coma doesn't mean that they don't hear you and they don't know that you are there. Because even though they're in a coma, their inner being is still with them. And even though a part of their consciousness has been withdrawn, but they're not gone, they're still very much there. And it was April, the very end of April. My mother made her transition to non physical 2 days before Mother's Day in 2006. And I had gone from Canada to Pakistan to visit with her because I knew that she's not doing well. And in those days, I used to go and visit her every 3 or 4 months. And that time when I went to visit her, I knew that I was probably not going to see her in physical again. And she was prolonging it, she was hanging on. So I had a conversation with her. I sat on the side of her bed, held her hand, and I told her, it's okay for you to go. In fact, we want you to go because your being here is hurting us and hurting you. We cannot see you this way, and we do not want you to hang around. And I want you to know, love you so very much, but I want you to know that we are going to be all right without you. Because I knew her so well. And I knew that the reason she was not making her complete transition was because she thought that we still needed her, that we would not be able to function without her. But we had all learned to function without her. She had given us that time because she had been in that state for a while, and we had all learned to get along in our lives without her orchestrating and organizing everything for us. So I had that conversation and I flew back to Canada, and I think 3 or 4 days later, she made her transition. So, um, so the vibration, the language of vibration, everyone understands. Plants understand it, animals understand it, children understand it, people understand it, whether they are verbal or non-verbal, whether they are conscious or seemingly unconscious. Everybody understands vibration. And you know what? That is why music is an international language. That is why music is an international language. Because why? Because music is vibration. Music is all about vibration. And that is why we can tell the difference. If you just hear the melody or you just hear the music, you can tell the difference between a happy tune and a sad tune, a happy song and a sad song, right? Because it's all about vibration. All right, I'm going to go back now and share what Abraham says about this. Yes, took me back there. Okay. Hi, Ty. Okay. So then Jerry says, from time to time, someone will say, I have a friend or family member who's in a coma. Is there anything we can do for a loved one who's in an unconscious state? So Abraham says, you're communicating with those around you vibrationally. Same thing that I just said to you. You can even communicate with those who have made their physical transition in what you call death. So do not assume that a seemingly unconscious state has barred your communication, because it never does. Oh, thank you for the lovely flowers. Who is this? Geraldine, thank you so much for those beautiful flowers. Um, okay, so I started doing this. I learned this. Actually, I didn't learn it from Abraham. I learned it from Jose de Silva. Does anyone know Jose de Silva? Uh, amazing man, created an amazing business, all based on hypnosis and NLP. And actually one of the forefathers of NLP, I have to say, because NLP did not exist way back then when Jose de Silva was creating his hypnosis CDs. And in well, not even CDs, they were tapes. Yes, Thai. And so I absolutely loved and adored Jose de Silva. And from him, I learned that you can call on anyone, whether they are physically focused or non-physical. You can call on anyone for their expertise, for their help, for their love, and assistance with whatever you want. And he called it your secret board of directors. So you would have this board of directors for whatever it is, your business or whatever. And it would consist of these people that you admired. And when you were focused on a problem, you could go into your boardroom, and all these people would gather with you in your boardroom, and they would give you advice from their perspective. Isn't that an interesting exercise to do? Because we have the capability to look at things through someone else's perspective. We can don someone else's perspective, right? So I learned to do it from him. And in my board of directors, this is way back, I don't know, 15 years ago, more maybe. I had people, a mix of people, those who were physically focused and those who had made their transition, and I would call on them for help, and I totally believed that I was receiving that help. Um, and at the end of the day, it is all about belief. If you don't believe, then you will not get. You have to believe in order to be able to get that energy and that information. Because the answers to everything are there in non physical. We just have to draw upon them. And all of these techniques that we use, they're all tools and mechanisms for us to be able to focus strongly and be able to draw what we need from source, from the universe. All right, where am I? Oh, right here. So then Abraham said the primary reason why people remain in a coma or unconscious state is that they are seeking refreshment from the lackful thoughts that have been hindering them. In other words, while they have withdrawn their conscious attention from the details of their normal life, they are in a state of vibrational communication with their own inner being. So it's a time of healing, in other words. It is an opportunity for refreshment and is often a time of decision making where they are actually determining whether they will find their alignment by returning to non physical or whether they will awaken back. So, while people are in that state of coma, healing of the body is taking place, but they in that place they have that opportunity to make a decision whether or not they want to recover or whether they want to complete their transition. In some cases people come back. Anita Morjani came back, right? My mother did not come back, and that was okay. It was okay that she did not. So it's a very individual decision, and coupled with that decision, if people make the decision to come back, you will find always when you read those stories, you will find that when they come back, their whole perspective of life has changed. It's like rebirth. It's like they are born again and they are completely different people when they are reborn. And that is because their earlier perspective is what took them into that state of health that created the coma. And now they don't want that anymore. And they have decided, because changing of focus is just a decision. It's a decision. We can make it like that. And similarly, if they think that they have done whatever they wanted to do in this lifetime, and there is absolutely no reason for them to come back, then they complete their transition and they don't return. Okay, so and then Jerry says, and so those people who are in a state like that for many years, they're doing what they want to do. Like, he's surprised, the way he said it is like, really? They want to be there? Why? And then Abraham is saying most of them, if it is that length of time, made the decision not to return long ago. And someone in the physical overrode their decision and kept them plugged into a machine, but their consciousness has long gone and will not return to this body. That gives me goosebumps too. All right, so the next topic is, could I inherit my grandmother's illness? Jerry said, I've heard people say I have migraine headaches because my mother had migraine headaches, or my mother is overweight, my grandmother was overweight, and my children are also overweight. Do some people inherit physical problems? Wow, there's so many people who believe that it's genetics, right? And that's just because that's the extent to which science has caught up. Science has not caught up all the way. And my own belief is that we all have the genetic makeup to allow all sorts of different things, but it's the trigger. If you trigger it, then it happens, and when you don't trigger it, it does not happen. And that's why two children in the same family, born, even if they are twins, born to the same parents at the same time can often end up having completely different experiences. So Abraham says what appears to be an inherited tendency is usually the law of attraction's response to the thoughts that you learned from your parents. However, the cells of your body are thinking mechanisms also, and your cells, like you, can learn vibration from those around them. So basically, what Abraham is saying is, if okay, let's take an example. If your mother is overweight, she's obese, and you grow up seeing your mother being obese, because you're focusing on the fact that she is that way, then you can end up being that way too. And some people go the reverse way, and they look at their parent and they say, no way, not going to be like you. And they don't take it seriously and they don't pay attention to it. So they turn their attention away, and then they don't end up being like the parent. See, it's all about attention. If you give attention to it, if your parent keeps saying, oh, this is hereditary in our family, everybody gets it, and now you as a child or even as an adult, if you're listening to that talk and you are believing it, you're allowing it inside you, now you've given birth to the belief that it is genetic and it is in the family, and therefore you've opened yourself up to it. Right? So even though it's not your intention, but your attention gets you there. All right. So then what's next? Let's see. Abraham says your body is an extension of your thought. Your contagious or inherited negative symptoms are supported by your negative thought and could not occur in the presence of chronically positive thoughts, no matter what diseases had been experienced by your parents. So, really important to understand and know. And doesn't that make you feel free? And doesn't that make you feel like you have control? And doesn't that make you feel that anything is possible? So Jerry says, then if I hear my mother speak of her headaches and I accept that, then I can start having headaches myself. Abraham says, whether you heard it from your mother or from any other, your attention to something you do not want will in time bring the essence of it to you. And it's as simple as that, folks. Just wherever attention goes, that is where energy flows. Whatever we activate, we bring to ourselves. So in the Heart and Mind Alignment course, I teach this, that attention and intention are extremely different things. Just because we intend good things does not mean that we also give attention to good things. All right. And then we're moving on to the role of the media in epidemics. Oh my God. That's hilarious. Because that's exactly what we're living just now, isn't it? Hi, Kelly. Jerry says, I've been hearing in the media recently that there are free flu shots in town for those who want to go and get them. Will that news affect the spread of the flu virus? Abraham, yes, it will be of great value to the spread of the flu virus. There is no greater source of negative influence in your environment today than your television. Oh my God, yes. So, the less you listen to all the news and statistics about COVID-19 or anything else for that matter, the better off you are. And especially when they're advertising medicines and they give you a long list of everything that can go wrong if you take it. Yes, Talbach? Yes, you're right, social media. Well, you see, social media you can be very selective with. You can be selective with social media. And you can even be selective with the news. I turn it off. I turn the news on. I know exactly when they're going to tell me about the weather, and that's when I turn it on. And then I turn it off. Right? So we can be selective about what we want to consume. So if you want to help with what is going on in the world and help the world to return to normal, then the thing to do is to stop listening to statistics and news about what's happening, etc. Just leave it alone. Take your attention away from it. And then um, and then you will contribute to things getting better. So yes, we have control. We can do whatever we want, right? We don't have to participate just because other people are participating. We don't have to participate. I go somewhere and people are talking about COVID-19. I ask them to talk about something else. Had enough of that, folks, and they understand it. Everybody understands it. But it's like people want to talk about the weather because it's a conversation starter these days, right? But stay away from it because you don't want to give it your attention because you want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem, right? And everything works the same way. Whatever we give energy to, and unfortunately, media is the culprit. Media is the culprit, but they don't know any better. And who knows whether or not they will ever learn. But our job is not to assist that process, but to make sure that we do what we can, do whatever is under our control, so that we can be part of the solution. All right. Do we have any questions? I love questions. Do you guys have any questions? If you have questions, bring them along because I don't want to start at this time. We're getting to the end of our time commitment together. I don't want to start another topic for discussion. So if you guys have any questions, I can stick around and I can have a very good time having a conversation with you. So does anyone have a question for me tonight? If not, I can say good night. Any questions? Fun times. Hi, yes, Kelly. Yes. All right. It seems like I don't see any questions coming forward. So we are all good, I guess. I am going to see you all next Wednesday. If you're available, come and join me because we'll keep going through our book study. At this point in time, we are more than halfway through the book, but there's still quite a lot of stuff coming. And I'm really excited about starting the next part of the book, which is called Careers as Profitable Sources of Pleasure. Have a good night. Yes, absolutely. What book? Oh, it's this book, Money and the Law of Attraction by Esther and Jerry Hicks. All right, folks. Love you all. Thank you so much for joining me. And I will see you next Wednesday, 7 p.m. EST. Bye for now.